Welcome to the It's Not Me, It's You podcast, a space where we explore the questions couples often avoid in their relationships.
Not the easy ones, the uncomfortable ones that sit quietly under the surface.
Before we chat, a quick note. If you're someone who finds these conversations helpful,
But still notices the same patterns showing up in your life or relationships, we've opened a small number of private reflection sessions.
check the link for details. Also, just to say, there is no right and wrong here.
This is simply an opportunity for us and you to travel through the tougher questions that come up from time to time, the ones we're often too afraid to ask. How do you know when you feel emotionally safe with me?
Wow, that's a nice question.
That's a deep one.
That is.
You know,
that
and
is.
we were talking about men last time.
Yeah.
And how it's important for men to connect with their emotions and so on. But here's the thing. Often when men step up and try and communicate how they feel, they're either shut down, told it's weak, and ignored. And so what happens often is and of course I'm generalizing, they'll shrink back and just the wall goes up and you're just stone-faced, cold, villain origin story.
Can you get out of that mode? Can you feel emotionally safe? If you're a man that has done that and you feel that way, how do you become emotionally safe enough to feel like you can open up again?
I can't speak for everyone else, but what I've noticed, within myself and with other men that feel confident about talking about how they feel, it's just owning who you are and not worrying about what people think. If someone shuts you down when you're trying to be vulnerable, it says more about them.
Yeah.
It means they're inconsiderate and incapable of respecting your feelings.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, they're not people you need to be around. So you have a choice to remove yourself and your energy from them.
Yeah.
Reclaim your energy. And so when that's happening, you should just make a mental note. Okay, I can't talk to you about those things.
Right.
So I won't continue trying and take that energy elsewhere and constantly feed that back into yourself. If you, because everyone needs to do it. If you're unable to share what's going on inside you, what you feel, all that happens is it builds up and volcano time at the wrong time. You know what I mean? That's why you see so many men and people say, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. He just went crazy.
We were fine.
We were fine. And then he's like mashing up everything. I'm laughing because, it's not actually something that, it's a very common thing.
Yeah.
Because men often get the opportunity to simply say, I feel like crap right now. I don't feel loved. I don't feel safe. I feel like the world's coming at me and no one's hearing me. People are like, get over it, man up. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, in certain environments, you have to be stone cold. You have to be hardcore. But the truth is we're human and everyone has their breaking point. There's only so much. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. We're talking about UFC because we're talking about martial arts, jiu-jitsu and so on. And he was rolling off some statistics on MMA. And I was like, dude, respectfully, I'm not actually really a big fan of MMA. And he said, oh, and he looked shocked because he knows that I'm doing some jiu-jitsu over the years and other martial arts. I said, what do you mean? I said, because respect to the guys that are involved in the sport, super athletic, powerful, strong guys. But what you see often is a mum dies, a partner breakup situation happens, a kid is in hospital, something like that happens and they don't know what to do. And it turns into a train wreck. People going on a rampage, smashing things up, getting drunk, drink driving and so on, because they haven't learned how to switch it off. And I'm not just talking about MMA guys, I'm talking about any man, any person that hasn't been given the opportunity to explore what to do when those other areas of life arise.
And that's
outside of being tough guy.
Yeah.
You have to be a tough guy and woman and whatever gender you want to say you are.
Yeah.
We're alive and we're living. The world is going to throw challenges at us.
Right. Yeah.
You have to find those spaces to breathe and be vulnerable so that you get that balance, yin and yang. Otherwise, you're just going to destroy yourself.
And that is why it's really important to really choose your home haven and your life partner really, really carefully, because at the end of all of that, and you've done the fighting and you've been at work and you've been in the trenches on your own, you need to come back and feel safe so that you can be emotionally safe to say, wow, that day's just kicked my ass, but I need to just relax and ease out of it right now. So feeling emotionally safe you need to know that you can also feel emotionally safe out in the world. And that might be switching it off and being, you know, like you say, like stone on the surface, but underneath, you know that is just to get you through that particular situation or circumstance. It's not genuinely like necessarily who you are on the inside. It's a part of you, because I believe we also do have all of those elements. It's tapping into all of those things at the right time. And that for me as well is huge emotional intelligence, when you know that this situation needs X version of me. And then when I go home with my partner or my kids, then I need to have X version of me. Because if you bring the outside world tough energy into the home, that's not going to go well, because you're just going home again, and you might be cooking dinner or like doing homework with your kids or having a difficult conversation with your partner. You can't bring the outside energy in.
Listen, growing up in a Caribbean family, we got a lot of that energy. You know what I mean? It's like when it's time to do homework and stuff, like, all right, maths, 2 and 2 is what? And if you ever get that wrong, you have 2 orange and you add 1 apple. Listen, you get that equation wrong, you know what's coming. But again, is
that the slipper?
But you do the history, you check the history, and you look at the colonial past of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
People enslaved and forced.
Huge, yeah.
To forget their ancestry and become a product. And so there are people living for generations in survival mode. And then they're passing that on to their children. So they've never learned how to be emotionally safe within their own home, let alone in the outside world with other people often.
Yeah.
So this emotional safety question is so important, allowing hopefully the space for people to say, yeah, actually, I would prefer it if, you know, don't talk about our relationship with your friends. You know what I mean? I know you, it's your mom and so on, but there are certain things, and I'm not trying to control you, but there are certain things about me. Don't talk about you all you like, but if it's about me, please come to me first and get my permission about how I feel about that before you share it, because I'm not even there to share my piece or whatever. Like, and that goes back to non-negotiables, communicating boundaries, and also to intimacy in the bedroom. Because if you're not dealing with that, if you don't feel safe emotionally, how are you going to layer that up with exploring something that makes you even more vulnerable?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, being sensual and being intimate, that's a serious vulnerability there. You've been really open.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about like a one-night stand or any kind of, you know, crash and bang situation. Excuse, you know, being crude. I'm just saying, real talk, when it comes to you opening up and really connecting on a tantric lovemaking level, you have to feel so much safety and trust for that spiritual exchange of energy, which is not going to happen if you don't feel you're at that point with somebody.
Yes, absolutely. And there's levels to that and layers.
Levels. Because
it's like you say, it's not something that necessarily happens, and you're not going to give that level of yourself to everybody. And there's so much to that. So feeling, like you say, emotionally safe is really important, and knowing for you when that level is, because if your partner is saying, you know, I love you, what more do you want? Like, you should feel safe with me. Well, saying it at me in that tone isn't really helping. I need you to be a bit softer with me. Like, I need you to really just
It's all soft, man.
I need you to sit, put your phone away, turn the TV off, and have a conversation and just really hear me. Don't listen to me to then think about your own question, to then ask me another question or dispute what I'm saying. It is just being quiet and just really letting me speak, because that is when I know that I will feel the most emotional safety.
We've put together a short guide with 50 questions couples avoid.
Let us know which really resonates and how you get on with them.
Everyone's relationship and situation is different, so have fun using them as a guide for getting your questions answered in your relationship.
And remember to ask yourself the same questions too. Why do we wait until things feel heavy before we say anything? This is a great question.
This is a great question. Why do you wait? Why do you feel you wait? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And often, lots of studies suggest that it's because people are afraid of the consequences. It sounds so obvious to say that.
Yeah.
They're simply just afraid, oh my gosh, they're going to leave me.
It's fear, right?
It's fear of some other consequences that seems greater, so it's best to just be quiet and to put up with it and hope that everything's going to be fine. But then it comes to breaking point, and they don't care anymore because it's like, well,
I've got nothing to lose.
Right, and why are we waiting until there's nothing to lose?
Yeah. Wow. Because you've let things build up so much. I think this is a really important point because waiting until things feel too heavy, we mentioned it last time, it's like it's a stacking effect of months or even years of stuff that hasn't been addressed, to the fact where you just know that you can't be with this person anymore, but you don't really know why, or you can't pinpoint 1, 2, or 5 things. It is just everything, or you're just no good for me anymore. And that happens, we see that a lot in relationships, in friends or people that we work with. But if you can just break it down and step by step, bit by bit along the way, just have that conversation of, I wasn't happy about this when that happened, or I didn't like it when you said this, or you acted that way. But rather than doing that, sometimes we don't often know how to communicate those things on a regular day-by-day basis. So it builds up, and it erupts.
But how soon are you supposed to communicate it? So as soon as someone does something, you're in their face, what do you think you're doing?
Maybe, yeah. You don't have to be in their face about it, but you can say, what you're doing. That's exactly it.
I don't like that.
What
do you think you're doing?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. What do you guys think? How comfortable do you speak up in your relationship? Sometimes you may not also really know.
Oi, leave it at you. It's one of them, right?
Sometimes you might not even, sometimes it might be something that happens in the moment, that you're out and about in public and you're just kind of like going through the motions of whatever you're doing. But then afterwards, when you step away and look back on it, you're like, hang on a minute. Did that really happen before? Like, where were you going with that? Like, why did you think that was okay? Or that made me feel a bit unsafe or insecure. Can you just, share that with me and let's talk about it? Because I don't want that to happen again. I felt a certain way.
We're making light of it. Well, I'm making light of it. But there are people in some relationships that really feel afraid to talk about what they're not happy with, because they're worried about the consequences, the physical consequences,
Yeah.
And if you're experiencing domestic violence and so on, please seek the help that you need. It's so important to mention that, because you shouldn't be in what is supposed to be a loving relationship and afraid for your safety.
Yeah, 100%.
And physical well-being. I grew up around domestic violence, and I've seen that where, things escalate real quick, go from 0 to 100. And if there are children in the environment as well, you might be staying silent to protect the kids. You think, I can't do this anymore. And the loop continues. They then get permission to keep doing it because they keep getting away with it.
And is it protecting the kids?
Well, no. The children then feel unseen, unheard, unsafe. And then that has a knock on until hopefully one day they're able to break the cycle.
Yeah.
Or they get the support they need in the moment.
And kids are so perceptive. Sometimes people think that the kids don't know, but the kids will always know. Like, they will know what's going on because they can pick up atmosphere and they can pick up tension more than anything. So, sometimes people don't always give kids the credit that they should really deserve.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great point to mention. And if you can, with your partner, have those conversations sooner rather than later, it will stop that heaviness building, so that you don't get to the point of no return.
Yeah, and a lot of it is the role models, the examples you saw growing up. Mum put up with lots, so I need to put up with lots. Dad put up with lots, so I need to do the same. You're weak. Cultural layers as well. You should be able to take this, you should be able to do that. And we're all human with different levels of what we can take. So are you going to care about me enough to figure out where that is for me and take it into consideration? And you might have to have that conversation and say, it isn't acceptable on both sides. Yeah. You're expecting too much and I would like you to be stronger, and neither one of you are capable of getting to that place. So it's best to call it a day. And this is the thing. A lot of the time we're avoiding the question because we're worried about the relationship falling apart, when actually it's probably the best thing.
Yes. You'll be clinging on to something that actually needs to be let go of because it's not really serving you anymore. If you've found your way here and you're enjoying the conversations, please subscribe, share the podcast, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss future episodes.
You can also drop your questions in the comments below and we'll do our best to explore them.
Now, let's go.